Hi, welcome to Football-Oranje podcast number 16. It's been a while. I'm here with James Rowe, but actually with James Rowe.
Yeah. Hello.
We're outside the beautiful Amsterdam Arena, or as we should call it.
Johan Cruijff Arena.
Exactly. And we're here today to talk about Ajax, Eredivisie, national team. We've got all your questions lined up. We're really excited, aren't we, James?
Yeah, well, especially to have a live podcast from Amsterdam.
It's live, and
very nice.
Actually, we can see the stadium, can't we, James?
From the vantage point where we're looking out, it's very nice indeed.
Yeah, and we're recording on a wet Wednesday.
Yeah.
We won't be out till Saturday, so
no, okay.
Well, for the viewers, hopefully not too much won't change.
No, I don't think so. I think we've got some good questions from followers and some good talking points, so should be a really interesting podcast.
Okay, well, I think there's only one place we can start, and that's with Ajax.
Mm-hmm.
And Peter Bosz was departed the club.
Yeah.
And we had a place with Marcel Keizer, so is this going to be a good or bad thing for Ajax? Can they continue, do you think?
To start in chronological order of how things went, I was surprised that Bosz left. I was more surprised that Dortmund hired him, because with certain major European clubs you need to show that you can win, and in the case of Peter Bosz, he hasn't won anything yet. When he reached the Israeli Cup final with Tel Aviv, they lost that final. Reaching a Europa League final with Ajax, it was a fantastic achievement, but they didn't win that final. I'm surprised that Dortmund have hired him. I'm not surprised why he has taken the job, because it's a step up, it's an opportunity to get even better. But I think he's in for a bit of a shock. I can't see him pulling up any trees with Dortmund. I can't see anything spectacular happening in the Westfalenstadion this coming season.
We don't. I honestly think that he'll be a success. He's shown that he's been a bit of an inventor in a way with his tactics. You've seen it with Heracles, Vitesse and Ajax. But he wanted that, didn't he? He went to Israel to try and be with a team that wins things, and then he got his lucky break and came back to Ajax. Pardon the pun. Look at Ajax. But yeah, he's now gone to Dortmund. That's what he wanted. That's what he went to Ajax for. But it came around quicker maybe than what he wanted. Yeah. But his position came untenable, didn't it? Because of apparently what had been said behind the scenes. But
about being not being in agreement with players and staff, and being perhaps a little bit obstinate. But it's an opportunity he's taken. Coming on to Marcel Keizer, the first thing that jumps out at me is how prepared the Ajax board are to protect the legacy of making sure that players and managers can develop at all levels of the club. This is a man that managed to get 76 points with young Ajax last season. It won't be a bridge too far from Marcel Keizer.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
You know,
I don't think so. I think it will be a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
He's also got more managerial experience at the current moment than what Van Bronckhorst and Philippe Cocu had when they first started at PSV and final respectively.
That's a very good point. Yeah. But I mean, you've seen with Camber, it didn't quite pull up any trees. They finished bottom. But it is with Camber, I know. Yeah,
because the squad with Ajax, I mean, it's extremely highly rated and extremely highly spoken of within Ajax, within the organisation itself. I have a few Ajax colleagues and a few friends, and there wasn't one person that said, I don't like that appointment, that's not for me. So I think he's going to have a good season.
Yeah. But he's going to have a depleted squad to start with, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think you can see that PSV and Ajax are now fighting for the signature of Habs from Asset. Be interesting to see who gets him. It's a long summer. It's a long summer where bids can fly off the handle, bids can be received in the blink of an eye. I think that Ajax will do their due diligence, and I think that things will work out okay, and I think they're going to have a surprisingly good season.
You do?
Yeah.
I mean, I can see where you're coming from with positivity. He's gone and led young Ajax to second in the Jupiler League last season, and that's a massive improvement on what they had before. And he'll know these players, won't he? He'll be taking these players through to the first team, just like Peter Bosz has. And he's responsible for the likes of De Ligt, Kluivert, and making that quick jump to the starting 11. And he's going to know those players inside out, and it'll be hopefully a very quick introduction to the season. And very tight squad, hopefully.
Yeah, I think they'll prepare properly, and I don't think it will be a mash of players. I think they'll deliberately search who they want and try to find who they want, and hopefully become stronger.
But as usual, there's gaps to fill. David Klaassen was a big departure. Well, we expected that, didn't we?
Yes, well, it was apparent that he was going to leave.
Yeah.
Only the destination was unknown.
Yeah.
I myself, Everton is a good, solid English club, that has to be said.
Yeah.
But he was also linked with Villarreal and Napoli, and from my point of view...
Did he make the right choice?
No.
No.
No, I'm not trying to offend any Everton supporters here. It's a good, solid English club. You can understand why he's gone with the Dutch link with Ronald Koeman, that will help him in terms of communication. He said that himself. But when Napoli was linked, okay, I'm not Davy Klaassen, but I would have gone there, because then you would have shown in an up-and-coming league, Serie A, which is getting even stronger. I mean, it's not too far off the days when in the mid-90s, when it used to be a shining light. I'm convinced that will happen again with Serie A in the future, personally. But I think Klaassen will take time to find his feet. I can't see him scoring many goals in quick succession. I think he'll score goals over the course of the season.
Do you think he'll be a regular?
Not in the beginning, but over the course of the season, yes.
Because they paid a lot of money, you think he'll get some games. I can think of a comparison here with Koeman. When he took Graziano Pelle away from Feyenoord to Southampton, I thought he wouldn't be able to make that step. We always know how it goes with Eredivisie strikers, it's hit or miss. But he took Pelle, and I didn't think he had the quality for the top level of the Premier League. But it turns out he did. And I think he could do something similar with Klaassen. At the moment, I still think this will be a level too high for a player like Klaassen. He did great in the Europa League, but it's the things he offers. Others, for me, only a limited amount of skills, a narrow skill range that may not be the best equipped for the Premier League. He's just got physicality, hasn't he? But it's things to come around with it. He's maybe a bit one-dimensional, perhaps.
One thing he is going to need is speed.
That's his main issue.
I think in certain games, with the backlog of games and with coming thick and fast, he's going to really need to up that speed and up that tempo. Yeah.
Do you think that Ajax will need to make any more signings then? Because we've seen that Haps is possibly on his way. Van Leer is going to be a backup goalkeeper after Diederik Boer's departure. What else is going to happen, do you think?
I would be surprised if they didn't make a beeline for Sam Larsson from Heerenveen. I think he may well be. Be eyed by Ajax. But I think in the case of Kaiser, he's going to look at the youth that he brought in at young Ajax last season, and he's going to study that properly. This is an opportunity for Kaiser to right the wrongs and the naysayers at Cambuurleeuwarden. And I just can see him taking his time. There's no need for him to sign a stellar name within the first couple of weeks. I can see him taking his time and getting things, trying to get things right.
Okay. I was interested in your point about Sam Larsson for Ajax, but I think it could perhaps be a backward step back to when De Boer was in charge, where he would sign these players who were not top level, but reaching a good age to move away from the Eredivisie, but then going to a top club. And I actually did that a few times. Isn't that a bit of a backward step because there's not much potential you can squeeze out of these kind of players?
I think Sam Larsson has got another season in him where he wants to show what he's made of. He had flits of a good season last season,
but he's not Hakim Ziyech.
No, but good players can play together, and I think they would complement each other quite well.
Yeah, that's a good point actually. I think we should be aware from Ajax. There's been some happenings elsewhere in the Eredivisie. A key one perhaps would be Boetius' return to Feyenoord. In my opinion, not the best signing. I think they could have found a better replacement for Elia, because he had a stellar season last time out. But Boetius hasn't had the best time with the likes of Basel nor Gent. Was it Henk? Gent?
I'm not entirely sure. I think it might.
Who knows the difference between those two clubs sometimes?
I think it might be Henk. I think.
Okay.
But
they wear blue.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's known for his time at Basel. You can understand why players go to Basel. The opportunity to win a league title, the opportunity to play Champions League or European football. And he's coming back now, not necessarily a better player, but he'll have something to offer Feyenoord.
But his only good season seemed to be that one where it was his breakout season, and since then it just hasn't built on it.
No, I think he found himself in Basel in maybe managers that were preferring different players, and maybe he found himself along the sidelines where the opportunity didn't really arise to kick on and develop even more to become a better player at Basel.
Why has he gone back to Feyenoord then?
Security.
Security.
I think he's gone back for security.
Yeah.
I think in the case of certain players that return to the Eredivisie, like Lex Immers, for personal reasons, has decided to leave Cardiff City and return to the Netherlands.
Yeah.
That could also be a reason. Personal reasons, security. Better the devil you know than the devil you don't, and that could also play a part.
We have seen the likes of Bexwala and Ajax getting some new players, but there's been a big departure from Vitesse. Now they're preparing for Europa League season, as well as a challenge perhaps for top 3 if they feel up for it, if they can get some good players in. A key departure was Ricky van Wolfswinkel. I was so shocked when he left.
Yeah, me too, especially for the destination. But it gives Ricky van Wolfswinkel the opportunity to win a league title.
Yeah.
And he's a very, very competent striker.
Yeah.
I mean, to score 20 times in 34 appearances last season, to score those goals in the final, to win Vitesse their first trophy in 125 years. He's a very good striker. I wrote a piece on the Football-Oranje site about his eclectic career is now rolling on to the next destination. I think he'll do well at Basel. I think he'll win a league title. I think he'll score goals in Europe. I think he'll be as useful for Basel as he was for Vitesse.
Yeah, he was a very good player, but it's a shame to see that sort of passionate spine of a team will break up. Makamba's already gone from midfield. He's heading off to Belgium. Van Wolfswinkel's gone.
Lewis Baker leaving as well.
Yeah.
He's had a fantastic season, and I think Lewis Baker has been a shining light for British players that want to show what they can do abroad. I mean, he's won a significant trophy at the age of 19. He's won a Dutch Cup. There's players that go through their career, they don't win a sausage, and he's won an important trophy. So I think Baker will leave a hole behind him.
Yeah. Now we did have some questions about the Eredivisie, and I can pull one up here about RZ, if I can find it. So Van den Brom, the RZ manager, says that they won't be doing any business this summer because he's happy with his squad. Where can you see him finishing? This is from Callum.
I know it's still very early with pre-season. I can see RZ finishing maybe top 6, possibly maybe even top 8. I stated before on the podcast many months ago, I believe that Van den Brom is extremely lucky to have received this contract extension. I think the fact that RZ didn't really want to push the boat and look for potential successors has really helped him. And I think I know it's still premature, but I think Van den Brom, along with Philip Cocu at PSV, is going to have a very, very pressurised season. Where they're both going to have to deliver in order to stay in their respective jobs. It's
a brave stance by RZ, isn't it? The way they've sort of said, if you want our players, you've got to pay up.
Yes.
But it's like I don't think they're going to keep hold of their best players. There are a couple that could leave. Johan Cruijff, perhaps, the name too. And so far, new goalkeepers come in to really try and stabilise the back four, and we just suffered quite a few problems last season. And the likes of Lucassen as well. He also wants to leave.
They've invested heavily in youth RZ with their youth complex. They invested so much money in that, and that will bear fruit over time. But I believe, Michael, that will only bear fruit with the right manager. And with Van den Brom, when he was at Anderlecht and the pressure was too much and he buckled under that, he does have qualities, Van den Brom, but I can't see RZ pushing on with him as well as selling some of their best players in the summer. So I think a premature prediction would be top 6 at the moment for next season.
It's interesting with RZ. I saw something on Twitter, and it was about saying how fans, especially new ones, to RZ. Perhaps I fit in this category because I've only been watching RZ for 6-7 years maybe, and maybe I'm getting a bit fickle because I wasn't one of the true RZ supporters. You know that when years ago they weren't that good a team. I suppose you could say they weren't fighting up there, but that title win they had not too long ago, that's really raised expectations of supporters, expecting more. Do you think it's fair then that people call for Van den Brom's head? Because what did they do last season? They finished 5th in the Eredivisie. Oh no, sixth, shall I say? Sixth, and they got to the Europa League last 32. Yes, they got demolished by Lyon.
Yes.
But they were in the Europa League knockout stages. The cup final. What more do fans want?
I think Van der Blom made a rod for his own back with comments over the course of the season. I mean, I translated the interview he gave on the final day, where they kind of let European football slide and Utrecht come back to win, and he was saying about these things can happen. I'm very proud of my team, this and that, paying a little bit of lip service. If that was a manager that had a bit more oomph, it would have been. Would have been that we have let a chance go today, as well as Utrecht fighting back. We kind of let ourselves down a little bit. I think with his comments, he's made a bit of a rod for his own back.
Yeah.
You would hope that RZ should get to the point where they maybe think of a new manager. Van der Blom has a contract until 2019, and as I say, he does have qualities. But I think the club and the manager, in my personal opinion, Michael, has run its course. Yeah,
no, I agree. To be honest with you, but then again, maybe I'm fickle. We have another question about PSV here, about their transfer dealings. Again from Callum. Can PSV, can they get the Eredivisie title back with Herving Lozano? Now he's signed up, very good player by the looks of it.
I think it's a good start.
It's a good start.
I stated on our previous pod that we had with Xhaka and Michael a few months ago that the transfer market, in particular for PSV this summer, is going to be of huge significance. It's a good start. I think if PSV buy well and buy diligently in the places they need to buy, they will be fighting with Ajax for the title, and possibly maybe final, depending on how distracted they might get in Europe.
Yeah. I think the likes of Vitesse, for example, in Europe might hinder them in the top 3 challenge. I had them as maybe an outsider for that, and Utrecht as well. If they can get to the Europa League group stages, maybe it might be a hinder on their season, because there's a chance here, I think, for Vitesse and Utrecht to actually catch up with the top 3 perhaps this season.
Yeah,
but
to close the gap even further.
At least, yeah.
They both did a wonderful job last season. They both did a wonderful job last season. But it could also be Vitesse, if they're drawn against the likes of Olympique Marseille, Zenit St. Petersburg, Arsenal, a bit rabbit in headlights of a stadium of 60,000 people, a massive European name in Arsenal and Marseille, and a well-respected Russian club in Zenit St. Petersburg, for example. They could become a little bit starstruck.
Yeah. That's a good point. And just to sort of close off, I had a little chat about the Eredivisie. Why are so many Dutch players moving to Turkey is a question from Alex. Now I just want to edit that question slightly perhaps, because not just Turkey, is it? I think I've seen quite a lot of players go to the MLS recently, and I'd argue that's because of wages. The Dutch league can't afford wages that the likes of Turkey and MLS can offer. The MLS, I should call it MLS. I'll get Americans on my back. But
Major League Soccer.
Major League Soccer. Soccer. But yeah, there's players that are going there, and they don't have to be their how can I call it? They're the player that the one that they pay extra to.
Yeah.
They don't have to be that player, because they can still offer them more money and still be one of their members of their squad. Yeah. They're paying them more money, is my opinion. What about yours, James?
I think lifestyle is also a factor.
Turkey? The America, yes.
Yes, well, both, I think. I mean, but the Turkish league as well. I mean, if you look at Fenerbahce, if you look at their buying policy so far this summer, it's really impressive. To buy Dirar from Monaco is so consistent; it's unbelievable. To buy Valbuena, who has such an engine on him, it's unreal. Their buying policy, Fenerbahce, in my opinion, is extremely impressive. And you can understand why Van Persie's gone there. You can understand why Simon Kjær has gone there. It's not a poor league. If you win that league, it's a feather in your cap. If you win it, like in the case of Derek Cobb when he also won it, you can. The opportunity to leave the Netherlands doesn't come along every day of the week, and more importantly, it's not put away for every single player that ever plays professional football here in the Netherlands. So I think it's also a lifestyle choice as well as money in a combination. And I think in the case of Turkey, it's a league which is certainly not poor. It has something to offer. And when you have games such as Fenerbahce, Besiktas, Galatasaray, Başakşehir, who Elia has signed for, the competition, Konyaspor playing European football.
Yeah.
This is a remote destination which nobody had hardly heard of in recent years, and they've managed to win their way through to the Europa League group phase. So it's definitely an up and coming league, and it's gaining even more notoriety.
It reminds me of when the Ukrainian league rose to prominence. Perhaps not so much nowadays, but you saw mid-table teams really going for it and buying players that were probably worth quite a bit of money.
Metalist Kharkiv, for example. I remember accompanying a friend to watch RZ against Metalist Kharkiv. I think it was in 2012. I think it was, and that was interesting to see.
Yeah. I think a good starting point for our conversation over the national team could be brought about with the question here, with simply, what are our chances against France? What are the chances that the Netherlands can beat France in qualifying later this summer? Because they've got to win.
My personal prediction, Michael, is I give them a 25% chance. Because you've got home advantage, you've got Pogba, you've got Griezmann, you've got Lloris, you've got Nkante, you've got a home crowd that are really, really passionate. If this game was being played in Amsterdam, I would give the Netherlands more of a chance, but it's not. It's being played in Paris. And I just think that France, especially with their surprise defeat to Sweden in Solna, I think they're going to have the bit between their teeth, and they're going to really want to show what they're all about.
Yeah, they really want to get their payback, I suppose, and that's tricky because even a draw for France would put them in a good position, and the Netherlands not.
No.
So what would happen then?
Well,
if they lose,
I think if they lose, the negativity will return again. Not that it's completely gone away, because it's not disappeared, but it's been dumbed down because an appointment has been made at international level. Looking ahead a little bit, at the risk of getting ahead of ourselves, I think the home match against Sweden in October, I can't see them winning that game.
Really?
I can't see that winning. I can't see them winning that game. I think that's going to be a lot more difficult than what people think it's going to be. So they have to take one game at a time, and I just think with home advantage, I think France will show what they're all about.
Yeah. See, I'm of the opinion that they can beat Sweden at home, but it largely depends, of course, what the fate is. Because if they're still in a chance of qualifying, I think they can go on and win that.
Yeah.
But if they're already in a position that's looking a bit grim for qualifying, then it could end up in a bit of a disaster once more for Netherlands. And then what happens then? You're going to have the likes of Robben, Schneider, passing on that generation again. Who's left? There's no Sterling, older players to really hold up the squad.
No disrespect to Advocaat, is a wonderfully experienced manager, but I keep going back to the point I made on our previous podcast with the national team. If you had a Koeman in charge, he could make something of that squad. Might not necessarily be an absolutely wonderful squad, but it would compete. It would know its limits, and it would compete. Yeah. Advocaat will also get a certain level out of that squad, but he will get a reaction out of that squad. But if you're looking mid to long term, if you had a Koeman in charge, you could look towards the future and have more confidence. And at the moment, that's not the case.
And you can see with Koeman as well in the past, he's helped bring that youth through. Yeah. He's one of those good Dutch managers that will trust his academy, his younger players.
But Everton supporters are not going to like me, and they please Everton fans, please don't take it personally. But if Koeman was to have a difficult period of the season in the Premier League, where money has been heavily invested, or if he was to be approached by another team,
we all know how his commitment is.
Exactly. In the past, I mean, he started out here at Vitesse. He was announced as the Ajax manager in that December. So if a season is beginning in August and everything going so quickly, and then being announced as Ajax manager, we all know that when he receives an offer, if the offer is substantial, not in terms of financial gain, but also for the club, that's it. So with the Van Breukelen stepping down and a new board coming in, I hope they have a bit more ambition than the last one.
Yeah. I agree with a difficult period for Koeman perhaps because he's had a season, he's going to invest lots this summer. If it all goes wrong for him by Christmas, it's going to be tough.
If it all goes wrong by Christmas and the Cruijff Bay have a bit of ambition, you could have a match made in heaven. But who's
ditch Advocaat though?
Yeah, I think Advocaat once the qualifying is finished, Advocaat will say his goodbyes. I mean, he's 69 years of age. He's also got to enjoy his retirement. You got to enjoy life.
Well, he said he was going to retire once, twice already. Let's remember.
But in the current climate, with even saying that I'm going to finish the qualification and then that be that.
Yeah. In football, you never know. So.
No, you never know. That's absolutely correct. You never know.
Let's dream a little bit. Let's pretend they beat France. They beat Sweden.
Yeah.
They qualify.
Yeah.
Do they have a chance, realistically?
Depends on the group.
It does depend on the group.
It depends on the group. If one thing Van Gaal did when he was manager in 2014, he got them playing above their level, playing against.
It was
Spain.
Fantastic, wasn't it?
The Spain result, the 5-1, was a tremendous result.
Yes.
But what I found even more impressive was the win against Chile and the way they dismantled that Chile side, which was on so much form, and with their Copa America exploits, I found the Chile result extremely impressive. Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure Advocaat, with his experience back in '94, a long time ago now. Yeah. Could he bring the same? Oomph to a tournament? Yeah. Could he get the jovial atmosphere to really want to go for it? But I think we have to take one game at a time and look ahead to France at the end of August.
Yeah, we'd all have a party, wouldn't we?
Yeah, certainly would. It'd be interesting, especially here in Amsterdam. At international tournaments, they suffered in 2016 because they wasn't there. Even local supermarkets buying specific food for street parties and things, wasn't able to really do it. But they definitely enjoy their main tournaments when they reach them, and they're licking their lips at the opportunity of the first one since 2014 with a bit of luck.
It would be great, wouldn't it?
It would be.
James, cheers. I think we'll end it there.
You're more than welcome. Thank you very much. Look forward to the next podcast. Also, to let listeners know, you can follow us on football-oranje.com. You can also tweet us at me with James Rowe NL, and you can also tweet at Eredivisie Mike with Michael. Will have upcoming predictions coming for the coming season. I'm sure our opinions might differ, but of course he's the man of the predictions. So I'll have to send him a message to say I'm not entirely sure about this one, but be a very interesting season ahead.
Yeah, we've got lots planned on our website, so stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
If you're listening on YouTube, subscribe.
Yep.
Don't forget to like. Comment below any questions you've got for us in future.
Yep. Any podcast questions that you might have, please be aware we have interviews lined up at potential clubs.
Oh, yes.
And we will try to be ambitious as we can in terms of potential candidates. So hopefully we'll have a few surprises along the way.
Surprises are plenty hopefully this summer.
Yes.